wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, uwekezaji mwafaka umefanywa katika ukarabati na ujenzi wa viwanja vya ndege nchini tangu mwaka wa 2013. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254,
hatutaweza kuinua hali ya maisha ya wananchi wetu bila infrastructure.
Other than even the Kenya Airports Authority improving on the airport facilities, infrastructure, we are also arriving faster than before.
Nataka kushukuru Rais Uhuru Kenyatta kwa kutuletea mradi nzuri kama hii hapa Isiolo, mradi wa Isiolo International Airport. Tumepata hapa employment.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
Good afternoon. Thank you for creating time for us. This is KBC. A very warm welcome to the lunchtime news. My name is Irene Muchuma II. Political aspirants have just a few hours for them to register and settle with political parties that they will use during the August 9th general election. We have details on that and many more. Do interact with us on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. Now, we begin from Jubilee House, where political leaders have converged at the center. This just as political leaders are moving from one party to another. This as the deadline for Saturday is steadily approaching. And now my colleague John Jacob Kioria says we cross live and listen to the events on the ground.
Maigerio mageretio dirisha maigerio thiini wa kiama kia UDA na no wega mandu mamenye ati kahinda ga kuhenio ni gathiru andu ni mamenye horo wa ma rugendo ruria rwagiriru ni ruria turathie tugerete njira Jubilee na njira ya kuingira Azimio Mount Kenya na kuria kungi gwitu ni imwe na nio thiini wa Jubilee. Asanteni sana.
One more kofia mheshimiwa. Kofia hapa.
The one for No, we will. The law requires us that at the end of the day tomorrow, we take a list of our aspirants to ORPP, Register of Political Parties. It also requires us to take the list of members to ORPP. We will do more than that. We'll also give the Speaker the same list, ili ajue hasa ya wabunge na county assembly, wajue wale ambao bado ni wana Jubilee na wale ambao wameenda kwingineko, so that they can also, if they choose to use those lists, to either tidy up their houses or to know how to manage their houses. So we will do our bit. We'll serve them with the list. The speaker will be best suited to manage his affairs. Yes, nyumba ni yake, he will manage.
When you enter,
where's that?
From Nyanza.
Nyanza?
From Nyanza.
Which constituency?
Awendo.
This member of parliament for Awendo.
Yeah.
Kupitia Jubilee, wapi kama hakuna kofia? Kofia moja. Hakuna kofia.
ESG.
Toka Awendo. Bas. Sasa hata wewe karibu. We are taking members of parliament from all.
I want to say something to the press. I am called Kuwich Philip Onyango. I am here to present myself, contest for Awendo constituency through Jubilee ticket, and I want to promise my brothers in Odi.
Political realignments continue to take shape. John Jacob Kure is at the Jubilee House. Be sure to catch up with him in our subsequent bulletins at 7 and 9 p.m. Gladys Mungai is with the Democratic Action Party in Kilimani. This as the party is currently receiving aspirants ahead of tomorrow's deadline, where political leaders and aspirants are supposed to have settled on parties they will use during the August 9th general election. Let's cross over and listen in.
Na fikra ya kufanya zoning, and you are looking at western region, hiyo vyama zingine ingekuwa zoned out of western region. Ili DLP inashika Kakamega, Vihiga, Busia, Bungoma, Trans-Nzoia na kwenda North Rift yote. But you cannot say at Kakamega iko ya chama ingine na DLP iko hapo. Hiyo haiwezekani. Na hata huko Kakamega, we are also going, tunajua our competitors, wale viongozi, wale wa Kakamega, Mheshimiwa Deputy Party Leader, Mheshimiwa Savula is on the ground. He's been joined by Mheshimiwa Naomi Shionga. The rest of the team remains intact. Hata wale waheshimiwa wawili walikuwa convinced kuingia kwa ODM, sisi hatuna ubaya na wao kwa sababu tunajua ni haki yao. Demokrasia bwana. Hiyo ndio tunapigania, na hatuwezi kulazimisha ama tusikie vibaya kama mmoja. Ndio sababu hata sisi tunapokea wengine wanajiunga. Si leo mwingine amekuja, ameingia kutoka Matungu. Kuja hapo wapi yule wa Matungu hapo wapi Paul Achei wapi? Paul alikuwa hapa ama ameenda kwa shughuli zake. Na Mzambweni ameingia hapa, Lunga ameingia hapa kutoka ODM, hata Chiba huko pia ameingia kutoka ODM. Kwa hivyo hatusikii vibaya. Any member is free to join a party of their choice. Wale wameingia tunawakaribisha na mkono yote, na tunawaambia fanya bidii, with our support tuweze kupata hizo viti. Otherwise, I wanted just to make that point clear that there has not been any talks or negotiation or agreement or anything of that sort whatsoever, and our position remains the same. We'll be fielding candidates in all parts of the country, in all positions except that of His Excellency the President, whom we know is going to be Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga. He is the most qualified person. Hey, Raila, najua watu wengi hawajui. Raila si muongo. Yeye si muongo. Tumeona watu wamedanganya mambo mengi, anatembea anaongea juu ya uongo mwingi. Raila si muongo. Raila sio mwizi wa mashamba. Wale wengine mnajua. Raila sio mfisadi. Si mnajua hivyo. Raila si muuaji. Mnajua hiyo ama hamjui? Raila ni mtu anaelewa Kenya sana. Ni mtu anaweza kuunganisha wa Kenya. Ni mtu anaweza kupeleka nchi ya Kenya to the next level ile tunataka iende. So we have
political leaders making their stance just months to the next general election. And still to political matters, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission is calling upon communities along the borders of Kisumu and Nandi counties to maintain peace and order during the election season. This as 11 clans of the Somali community living in Isiolo County resolved to front candidates in all elective positions come August 9th.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission held a peace sensitization meeting with the National Government Administration officers and representatives from 2 communities living along Kisumu-Nandi border. Communities were urged to employ strategies that can aid in countering electoral violence and political intolerance ahead of the August general elections. Elsewhere, former Kigumo Member of Parliament and Murang'a gubernatorial aspirant Jamle Kamau has urged fellow politicians to avoid using insults as they seek the backing of the electorate.
Fortunately, we are being told that Wajiko is clever nowadays. Na upunguvu ya wajinga tuliambiwa iliisha nchini Kenya. I can equally tell those who are abusing other leaders and insulting other leaders that upunguvu ya wajinga imeisha.
Meanwhile, a section of supporters in Busia County have expressed concern over angles within Kenya Kwanza coalition, which they say could negatively affect campaigns for their presidential flag bearer, Deputy President William Ruto, in the county and the Western region at large.
Unapoona vile siasa ilivyo upande wa UDA, haswa at the level of the county. Tunaposimama hapa hivi, mimi na uhakika na msimamo wangu unaambatana na matarajio ya wengi. Hatuko na viongozi kwa county. Hatuna coordinators.
In the same breath, Orange Democratic Movement leaders in Kilifi County have dismissed critics who are against the endorsement of Raila Odinga as the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate.
Na imani ya kwa baba katika chama chetu cha ODM akifaulu na sisi tumefaulu.
And a lobby group under the Ushindi Kenya Azimio Mashinani Nyandarua chapter has launched its campaign for the Raila Odinga presidential candidacy ahead of the forthcoming general elections. Led by Laikipia Deputy Governor John Mwaniki, the group has also launched a steering committee to oversee campaigns.
Watu wa Nyandarua wamekuwa tumeona Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga amepitia katika zile kaunti za Mount Kenya akiongea kuhusu nia yake ya kupeleka Kenya yetu mbele. Lakini kuko na ile upungufu wa foot soldiers wake katika mashinani. Sasa leo hivi tuko katika kaunti ya Nyandarua, tumezindua kamati ambayo itaendelea mpaka katika polling station. Ifikisha kwamba katika constituencies hizo zote 5 zile ward ziko hapa zote zimekuwa na timu ya baba mashinani.
Finally, elders from the 11 clans of the Somali community living in Isiolo County have resolved to front candidates in all elective positions during the upcoming August elections, except the gubernatorial position, which will be filled through an agreement with other communities.
Time round, minority Isiolo County mzima wameshikana, wameamua kupigania haki zao ya kisheria ambaye sheria imewapea katika county government.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Zainab Said.
Youth who turned up for the police recruitment exercise at Karisa Maitha grounds in Kilifi North have termed the exercise as lacking transparency. Some are accusing officers in charge of dismissing them despite performing well in the physical exercise and having the required documents.
The county turned out in their numbers to participate in the nationwide police recruitment exercise. At Karisa Maitha grounds in Kilifi North, participants put up a spirited fight in the various activities that also proved to be an uphill task for some. However, for 23-year-old Alex Kazungu, who emerged first in the 6-kilometer race, things did not go as planned.
Tumeketishwa pale kama for 3 hours. Baadaye hivi tukajasomwa tu tukaambiwa tupite side nyingine. So ndo tukaambiwa next time turauke tuje mapema. So sasa nenda nyumbani sijui kama umetolewa kwa nini. Jinsi mbaya sana. Jinsi mbaya juu kwa number 1 after kurun 6 kilometers. Siku rahisi. Nilikuwa nataka tu kazi, lakini naona kama Mungu alikuwa hajapanga.
26-year-old Bokole Mramba also alleging foul play in the recruitment exercise.
Nimeona wengine ambao wamechukuliwa ni wale ambao labda pengine wameondoka mbio na wamekuwa wa mwisho tofauti kabisa. Na labda pengine hawaangalii qualifications zingine. Mimi nilitrain taekwondo, niko na certificate zangu. Lakini labda pengine mtu aangalie zile certificate nazo aziangalie za taekwondo, ujuzi wangu. Hawakupenda kuangalia.
A number of girls who had turned up for the exercise also expressed their disappointment with the process.
Tumefika kwa kiwanja na tukaambiwa leo hakuna nafasi za kuchukua wasichana. Mimi kwa upande wangu hiyo kitu imenivunja moyo kwa sababu ni kazi yenye napenda na moyo wangu na kila wakati huwa najaribu kuja kwa kiwanja kwa recruitment.
Kufika hapa tuambiwa anachukua wanaume kisha wanaume 10. Wangetupea hata wanawake 2 wakachukua wanaume 8 at least.
Isi vizuri wasichana, mbona wasichana tuachwe nyuma? Wavulana peke yake ndio wanachukuliwa. Sisi hatutaki kazi. Hatuna matumizi na pesa. It's not fair.
Kaloleni OCPD Ezekiel Chepkoni, however, dismissed the claim, saying the exercise was fair.
Waelezea kuna mtu kuelezewa ni kwa nini ameondolewa. Nimewambia ni medical. Either ni pressure ama kwa urine iko na kitu inaitwa glucose, so ni medical.
In Kakamega County, the exercise was held in all 13 constituency headquarters and was closely monitored by several agencies. Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
A section of elders drawn from the Mbere Council of Elders is calling on the government to rein on politicians using the emotive land issue in their campaigns. The elders noted that politicians have been using the controversial Moya land issue as a platform to garner more votes by employing divide and rule tactics. Led by Ngome Chair Easton Dhiga, the elders observed that failure by investigative agencies to act on rogue politicians may lead to incitement of the electorate.
Mambo yote kama wazee wamekubaliana, sasa amegeuka kwa nini? Anasema ati shamba ipewe ati watu wa Mbere South, ati wa North watubiriwe mbali. Hiyo ni vita anataka kufanya kati yetu. Mimi ningeomba wa Mbere wote na hata wale wengine watu wote wanaishi katika Mbere na Embu County kwa jumla wasisikilize maneno kama hayo. Wanjue wanasiasa wanatumia mbinu zote za kutafuta miti, yani votes.
Kajiado North Member of Parliament Joseph Manje has allayed fears that ongoing development projects in the region may not be completed before the next general election. The legislator says systems are in place to ensure contractors meet their obligations as per contractual agreements.
Speaking during an inspection of projects in the constituency, the Kajiado North Member of Parliament assured residents that all the running projects would be completed before the end of his tenure as Member of Parliament.
In total, we have given that 3 million, slightly over that 3 million, to make sure that at least we complete all the projects that we had allocated for this financial year.
Former Kajiado County Governor David Nkedianye accused Governor Joseph Olelenku of failing to implement development projects within the county.
Wananchi wamesema kama hujafanya kazi, hata ukienda independent, hata ukienda chama gani, hutapewa uongozi tena katika Kajiado.
Manje and Nkedianye are hoping to topple Lenku in the upcoming general elections. For Lunchtime News, I'm Jaretich Kiprano.
The Green Park, Desai and Park Road terminal are 98% complete. Nairobi Metropolitan Services Transport and Public Works Director, Engineer Michael Ochieng, says test runs on the 3 terminal have proved they will be ready for use before the official launch in April. According to Engineer Ochieng, public service vehicles will have a dedicated lane in and out of the 3 terminal to avoid disrupting traffic flow within the capital city. For passengers who do not wish to walk, transport will be provided to and from the Central Business District at a pocket-friendly cost.
Remains, we will be able to construct the workshop road terminus so that the vehicles which are plying along Mombasa Road will terminate there.
The border's Chinese Premier Li Keqiang says the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries should be respected. Li argues that the purposes and principles of the UN Charter should be observed and the legitimate security concerns of all countries should be taken seriously on that basis.
Speaking in the wake of war in Ukraine, Li Keqiang said China is making its own assessment and will work with the international community to play a positive role for the early return of peace. The premier said China will continue providing humanitarian aid to Ukraine after pledging to offer a bunch of humanitarian assistance worth 5 million yuan to the war-torn country. Meanwhile, Li said the bilateral relations between China and the US have been moving forward despite twists and turns. The premier said they still hope that the two countries could respect each other, coexist peacefully, pursue win-win cooperation, properly manage differences in a rational and constructive manner, and respect each other's core interests and major concerns. 50 years ago, China and the United States broke ice and started a voyage of normalizing relations between the two countries. And the bilateral relations have moved forward over the past 50 years despite the twists and turns.
Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. We do appreciate your company. Also on our social media platforms, a quick acknowledgement, Farming Coach. You're watching KBC Channel 1 from Lokichar. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Maybe we should have a dinner party and invite some of your single friends.
You need to keep your single friends at bay.
She's good people.
Hey, honey. Welcome home.
There's no dinner.
I've decided to cook for one.
Love is for those who fight for it.
But even when I got married, we'd still be together? Asali, move on.
Have you lost your mind?
I love you.
Oh, please.
Get out! Get out!
I hate you. She's gonna leave you.
She deserves better.
So do I.
sombra de traición.
But have you thought of the moment those debts Quadrum has are due, and they are huge? We will be defrauding Mr. Miranda, Dad?
I will devote myself to defending our daughter Mariela from those vicious and heartless Ferreras and everyone else who tries to hurt her.
The only thing you want is revenge on us for the ridiculous idea you have that we stole your land from you.
Hey, Dad.
It takes a very cruel and heartless human being to hurt my family the way you did.
What should we do now?
Look, I think that the best thing to do right now would be to save that information for later. If you think you are protected because of the confession secret, then you're quite mistaken. Because this here is not a confession, and anything you say right now, you can be sure that I will use it against both of you in the court of law. Lying heart.
Fue sembrando el veneno y la ambición.
Hii dunia hatukafanya nini, hata ukawa mwema kiasi gani, watu hawataacha kukulaumu, na hata ukawa mbaya gani, watu hawataacha kukusifu. Yani kuna watu watajigawa, kuna watu watakupenda na kuna watu hawatakupenda. Kwa hiyo ndugu zangu, Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala anatuambia sisi wote ni wenye njaa, isipokuwa aliolishwa na Mwenyezi Mungu. Na Mwenyezi Mungu anasema nilisheni, maana yake lisheni maskini na wajani na mayatima na kila waliosongwa na maisha.
Pendo lako kwangu halina kifani. Pendo lako kwangu halina kifani. Nimejua penzi lako.
Thank you for staying with us. Welcome back. This is the lunchtime news, time for Channel 1 Business News. Kenyan startups are set to benefit from innovation support from the Konza Technopolis Development Authority and Association of Startups and SME Enablers in Kenya. The Memorandum of Understanding will ensure that startups are enabled to scale up to create opportunities for young people.
The engagement with Konza is expected to enhance research and utilize available resources to make the environment favorable for startups to actualize their ideas for commercialization. ASEC will utilize Konza Technopolis conducive infrastructure, environment and other investment opportunities to help SMEs gain opportunities to set up industries and working space considering the strategic location of the facility. Engineer John Tanui, Chief Executive Officer of KOTDA, lauded the engagement, terming it as a key move to supporting Kenyan startups, innovation policy development and the innovation ecosystem in the country. Engineer Tanui added that the engagement will also seek to tap into the global networks to enhance networks with Kenya startups while creating opportunities to tap into the investment opportunities available at Konza.
This association and relationship we are building is to ensure that we work and support the startups so that they are able to scale, they are able to move to the next level. These startups will create opportunities for employment for our young people across the country.
Mercy Kimalat, CEO of ASEC, noted that the engagement presents an opportunity to collaborate on different initiatives to ensure that Kenya has a conducive environment for the innovation ecosystem. Kimalat noted that the association is keen to tap into the opportunities and innovation environment at Konza Technopolis.
We have discussed at length some of the programs that ASEC is doing and also how Konza can actually come in and plug in. And one of the key things that we are definitely going to work very closely together is one on the startup bill, as we do recognize that as one of the key pillars in terms of policy to ensure that we build a very vibrant and conducive environment for the startups and also to attract even investors to come and invest in the Kenyan ecosystem.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Farmers in Kilifi County are set to benefit from training on modern agriculture methods following the launch of a business incubation by the county government of Kilifi in partnership with the European Union. The program targeting the youth seeks to facilitate value addition and reduce post-harvest losses, as well as avail market linkages.
The government has been setting up policies to persuade the youth to take up agriculture following the high rates of unemployment in the country. The average age for a farmer in Kenya now stands at 60 years, a factor that is worrying considering that the practice contributes to 33% of Kenya's gross domestic product. Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi now says the hub constructed would help youth maximize on the presented opportunities and boost their income as a transition from old farming methods to modern farming practices. The project stakeholders have emphasized that the hub will support development of startups by producing them with advisory and administrative services for project success.
Because we've managed to, or we're managing to make agriculture to be more attractive to the youth. Pursuing entrepreneurship through agriculture is becoming a cool thing, and this is what the youth would require.
Today, a lot of the young entrepreneurs who are working in the agribusiness area, creating jobs, creating value addition, and not only coming from the big cities, but actually coming out from the rural areas.
Meanwhile, farmers in Kiambu County are foregoing animal husbandry due to the high cost of production of farm feeds. They now say a high production cost coupled with poor market prices are leading to massive losses. Farmers are now resorting to the use of alternative feeding materials, which they say do not help them get the intended yields. They are now calling on the government to provide field officers for training and subsidies to ensure they stay afloat.
Sasa ukipatia mbolea badala ya chakula, ng'ombe zako haziwezi kutoa maziwa yenye ulikuwa unatarajia kutoa. Kwa hiyo
we have been buying them raw materials like maize germ, bran, porad, sunflower, cotton, which we have been selling them to subside cost.
Finally, residents of Kakamega County are set to benefit from a consistent supply of clean water after the commissioning of the 80 million shilling Lohupa water project. So far, over 65 homes and several amenities have been connected to the system with the county, aiming for at least 20,000 homesteads. The project will be producing 15 million litres of water per day.
Milioni 15 lita kila siku. 15 million liters per day.
Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
Community health volunteers in Nyandarua County are set to benefit from a 3,000 monthly stipend beginning July 1st this year. This follows a directive by Governor Francis Kimemia in a bid to recognize the role of volunteers in the health service delivery.
Nyandarua County Governor Francis Kimemia, in a move to unlock the economic potential and improve health service delivery, has announced a monthly stipend for community health volunteers.
Some recommendations which I want to announce today, that with effect from 1st July, all our CHVs in the county, of 1,000 of them, will be earning each 3,000 shillings per month as a token in appreciation of the good work, voluntary work that they have been engaging in this county.
Kimemia said his administration also received 1.9 million shillings from the World Bank to help meet the demands of the area residents.
The World Bank has allocated 1.9 million shillings, and I'll match those funds for a shilling to support the CHV programs and activities in the county.
Kimemia at the same time said the county is planning to enroll over 1,000 community health volunteers in circles that benefit from the county allocations annually. Meanwhile, Siaya County government will enact a law to recognize the community health volunteers and put them on a monthly payroll.
As the county government has been paying them that stipend, we have put that stipend in law.
Siaya CC in charge of health, Dismas Wakla, has sponsored a county's health service bill, which is before the county assembly for debate and enactment.
The cabinet of the county of the county government passed a community health services bill, which lays out structures and systems on how community health services should be run in the Siaya County.
He made the remarks during the celebrations to mark the World Tuberculosis Day at Borough Market. For Lunchtime News, I am Brian Mwindi.
COMESA, in collaboration with IGAD, EAC, SADC, IOC, Lake Tanganyika Authority and the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization, have renewed their partnership of working together in implementing a program on sustainable development of fisheries. The program, commonly known as EcoFish, covers Eastern Africa, Southern Africa and the Indian Ocean region. Here are the details on this and much more across Africa.
The partnership, which started 3 years ago after a 28 million euros finance agreement was signed by the Indian Ocean Commission on behalf of COMESA with the European Union. Now it has replenished so that it can come up with better policies to help the fishing trade gain a new outlook across Africa. The target is to streamline the weakness and gaps in the fisheries data collection, management and capacity gaps. As more than 12 million people are employed in fisheries alone, the largest of Africa's blue economy sectors. It generates value added estimated at more than $24 billion or 1.26% of the GDP of all African countries. The deal stated that blue economy sustainable exploitation of resources in oceans, seas, lakes and rivers could contribute up to $1.5 trillion to the global economy. Meanwhile, Dangote Sugar Refinery Nigeria, with a national annual import of over $337 million, has declared its commitment to the backward integration policy of the federal government to reverse the trend to make Nigeria self-sufficient in sugar production. The company, which is committing over $700 million to its sugar project investment, will revolutionize the economy of the state and lift its people. It has assured the government by the time it fully completes its sugar projects, the nation would be saved of more than half of the forex expended on sugar imports annually. Nigeria is one of the sub-Saharan African largest importers of sugar, with the capacity to crush 12,000 tons of cane per day. Finally, the African Airlines Association has noted that the airline revenues are still low, with many operators battling with cash flow issues. Full-year revenue loss for 2022 is estimated at $4.9 billion, equivalent to 28% of 2019 revenues, where African Airlines cumulatively lost $8.6 billion in revenues due to the impact of the pandemic last year. The domestic demand, however, at 45.3%, outperformed intra-Africa and intercontinental, which remained subdued at 31.2% for intra-Africa and 23.5% for intercontinental. On the actual number of passenger seats offered by the airlines, domestic, intra-Africa and intercontinental accounted for 49.4%, 24.7% and 26% respectively.
The government plans to audit the information and communication skills of all civil servants to map out ICT gaps in the sector. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Msheru says the move will help to improve digital capacities as part of Kenya's digital transformation agenda. ICT illiteracy remains high in the public service, hampering the rollout of e-government services to the public.
ICT sector has grown by an average of 10.8% annually since 2016, according to the World Bank. The sector now accounts for about 8% of Kenya's GDP. According to Business Monitor International, Kenya's information technology market was valued at 64 billion shillings at the end of 2020, with computer hardware sales totaling 37 billion, while IT software sales were valued at 18 billion, and the balance on other services. The Digital Economy Blueprint, launched in 2019, seeks to deepen the use of ICT services in the public sector and increase investments in the industry.
Just as we are seeing here, civil servants getting their skills being updated, then everybody in the country must do the same, so that then they are part of this ecosystem. They are part of being able to improve, whether it's the business they are in or whether it's entertainment, whatever they are doing, so that then it is better for the country.
The government says that upskilling its workforce is part of the plan to ensure Kenya grows its digital economy.
Technology moves very fast. New things come up all the time. And especially in the civil service, if you do not train, then we may end up being overtaken by events.
Speaking during the graduation ceremony of 375 civil servants drawn from the public sector, county government and parastatals, ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru says there is a need for technical training aimed at improving the IT knowledge in the public sector.
Can we have an audit that says these are all the civil servants and these are all the ICT skills that they have? And then we say, how can we improve?
Over the last 2 years, there has been tremendous growth in the use of ICT, consequently causing a ripple effect in the digitalization efforts not only in government but also within the private sector.
However, Kenya's growing ICT sector still faces the daunting task of safeguarding against vices such as cybersecurity and information security, which the government says it is addressing.
How do we ensure that we have the right security in place? How do we ensure that as a country we are moving and growing, but we're not using this same technology to create the problems sometimes we see on social media, where people misuse the services? You should be able to identify them and in some cases deal with them. Or where people are being either harassed. All these things need to be taken into account.
Kenya, through the ICT Authority in conjunction with Huawei Kenya, has been upskilling civil servants through technical and non-technical courses to over 1,500 public servants since 2020.
The United States will reinstate exemptions on 352 out of 549 categories of Chinese imports from the so-called Section 301 tariffs after previously granted exemptions expired, the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative has said. The reinstated exemptions will apply as of October 12, 2021 and extend through December 31st, 2022, according to the USTR. They cover a wide range of the initially estimated $370 billion worth of Chinese imports that the Trump administration hit with punitive tariffs of 7.5% and 25%. More details next in our international business news.
The USTR declined to renew exemptions on 197 of Chinese imports. It said on Wednesday that the determination was made after careful consideration of the public comments and in consultation with the other U.S. agencies. A bipartisan group of 41 senators called that all the goods would be eligible for consideration in a letter to the U.S. through Trade Representative Catherine Tai last month. The senators also criticized the government for only retroactively applying for the exemptions as far back as October 2021, indicating that the U.S. importers would have paid tariffs for nearly 10 months as exclusions expired by the end of 2020. The exempted items included industrial